eyebrows nearly grown back. Welcome to the Completely Unnecessary Podcast.
You're gonna cut that part out about me talking about fanoodles? It's ridiculous.
For Tuesday, July 28th, 2020. Yeah, we're not going to talk about slimy fanoodles. Alongside Ian Ferguson.
We just did.
I'm Pat Contry. On the show today, we got lots of fun topics. G4 is returning. The Analog Pocket was announced. Lots of Nintendo leakage going on. Joe Rogan saying video games are a waste of time. We have the latest Heritage auction results for video games and the Patreon poll topic and maybe a scumbag seller. Ian, how was your weekend?
I don't know.
Okay, great.
I have no idea how my weekend was.
Okay.
It was fairly non-existent.
Okay, we got merch at ultimatenintendo.com. We got the enamel pins for the CU podcast and the Pixel Pat hairpin, or the combo deal on both, and the certain NES Super Nintendo guidebooks. The Not For Resale documentary, Ian, is officially out of print for the first run on Blu-ray, but you can still watch it. Download DRM free at ultimatenintendo.com, the digital version, or on Amazon Prime. You can rent it or watch it there.
Wait, you're sold out?
Sold out.
Sold out.
WCW sold out.
Sold out.
But we're reprinting them there. So there you go. What was I going to say? Real quick, I'm also cameo.com/PatContry for your wedding needs, to propose to someone, which only happened once. I'm not sure they used it, or to, happy birthday, or to roast or whatever. But
I can tell you how my weekend was.
Okay, Ian.
Panzer Paladin came out last week, and it's really, really damn good. You saw the trailer for it.
I played it at PAX.
It's so delightful. It came out last week. That's actually something that I did this weekend.
I talked to the devs about it. Yeah.
Wow.
What?
Nothing.
This isn't the first time. Like I told you about. I told you about this
I know,
game.
and I told you about the game. I'm saying it came out last week, and you can finally play it, as opposed to just talking to the devs about it. You can purchase it and play it, and it's very, very good.
Advertise the game. Okay, go for it.
That's what I'm doing. I'm saying it's good.
It's an 8/16-bit style graphics. It's like in between. It's very nice. There's different weapon upgrades. It's like a combination of a little bit of Metal Storm and Metal Mech, because you can jump out of your mech and you can fight without the mech and then jump back in. So it's pretty unique. It's fun.
You can. Jumping out is not the main the main thing. There's little segments that require it, but the neat thing about it is it does have a weapon system where you can hold up to 4 weapons in your inventory, in your main inventory at a time, and then you have a larger inventory, and you can destroy the weapon all the weapons have durability, and you can destroy the weapon at any time to cast a spell, so to heal or to reflect damage or anything like that. So there's a fun bit of strategy in there, whittling down the weapon to like the last little bit you can use, and then timing it so you can use the magic properly.
And you can get wacky weapons like a hockey stick, I remember.
Yeah, and there's an entire thing where you can you can literally go into like a paint program and make all your own weapons.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah. So, no, I like to talk about games that I'm enjoying, and that one's really good. I normally do not bite super hard on the heavy retro aesthetic. I'm not normally sold on that, but I really like Tribute's other games, so I was like, fuck it, I'll give it a go. And it was really good. So that's actually what I did this week, and I'm like, I know I spent most of the weekend playing something, but my brain is foggy.
The little pilot's adorable. The little cape, little helmet. You can swing around like Bionic Commando a little bit with a little whip action. It's like I said, it's like that, like in between 8 and 16-bit style, which is popular for indie games, since the palette on the NES is so limited that it'd be hard to pull off some of the stuff. And it's cool. There's like the Zelda sort of thrust, downward thrust.
Yeah, no, the cool. Combat very much is reminiscent of Zelda 2. A lot of the enemies are reminiscent of the what the hell do they call them in Zelda 2? The Dark Nuts. There's a lot of enemies with like the shields up. It's very, very
2D shield and sword
Zelda 2
combat, which is I like that in Zelda 2. Some people don't like that. I love Zelda 2.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's not a real Zelda game. Well, you're just an asshole.
Your mom's not a real Zelda game. Yeah. Moving on.
4.5 stars according to Ian in a certain NES guidebook.
Great game.
Could have gave it 5, but 4.5 is still pretty good. All right. Real quick, the Mario Marathon is coming back July 30th to raise money for Child's Play charity. It's one of the oldest sort of annual charity events.
Yeah, predates us by a few years.
And then the bus one. God.
Desert Bus for Hope.
God, I can't believe my brain just froze on that. So yeah, it's been around for a while. there, and go to MarioMarathon.com. There you unlock Mario games they play, and this is the socially distanced edition. And then worst case scenario, me and Ian do the 10th annual NES Marathon with just me and him. If we can't get folks down to do it, will just be a smaller group there. Or I buy us some COVID tests. How much do they cost? Can we get COVID tests done? I mean, does that cost a amount of money? I don't know. I'll look into that. There should be an over-the-counter swab solution or something. Anyway, Rocket League, Ian, is now free to play.
F2P.
Our local small time dev goes big and gets paid off by Epic Games, and now they're going free. Probably because Epic Games says, yeah, there's a way to monetize this for free to play, and we'll make a ton of money like Fortnite, which isn't shocking.
I'm honestly surprised it took this long. Something like Rocket League, cars, skins, all that stuff seems ideal for the Fortnite sort of
treatment.
Yeah, microtransaction model.
Core gameplay will remain the same according to this release here, but we were refining the main menus to make exploring the game easier. Plus, we're revamping and improving major features like tournaments, challenges, and introducing cross-platform progression. Oh, that's pretty cool. So that means you can use the same profile on different consoles and go back and forth. That's
I think that is something that Fortnite does. If you, I think there's, I think it's PlayStation that you couldn't, or maybe they fixed that. But yeah, you can log in with your account anywhere and any console that you can play the game on.
It's the future of video gaming.
Future.
Even 10 years ago, we would say you're mad. You could play Xbox versus computer versus PlayStation. What? So it's going to be an Epic Games Store and PC at the same time it goes free to play. The version of the game will be identical to the version found on other platforms. This is less than a year later. They're doing it. It's only been like 7-8 months that they bought them out. Psyonix Games.
I want to bring up Ayuden Chronicle real quick. It was announced earlier this week. They needed $509,639 for their goal. Again, I still think that's one of those goals that simply exists to prove that there's a market for it. You can't develop a game of this size on that sort of budget. But it's at $1 million. I'm watching it go up right now. $1,883,501 with 31 days to go. I wanted to mention it real quick because Ayuden Chronicle is essentially going to be a spiritual successor to Suikoden by the same developer. This is something that we're seeing a lot of lately. Sometimes it works well, sometimes it doesn't. But it's good. I'm happy to see these creators get out from under the thumbs of bigger companies and be able to do what they do best.
Sure.
It didn't work out so well with Kaiji Inafune and Mighty Number 9, but it kind of opened the doors. We ended up getting Igarashi doing Bloodstained, which actually ended up very, very good. Mm-hmm. Now we're getting it with Ayuden Chronicle, and then on the larger scale, obviously Hideo Kojima left Konami and started his own company. Sure. Making his own games, not really doing Metal Gear Solid anymore.
The fallen angels of Konami.
But yeah, yes. Kaiji Inafune was Capcom, but yes, a lot of them are coming from Konami, and it's good to see. I'm actually not particularly familiar with Suikoden. I did play a bit of the first one and I enjoyed it, but I know a lot of people have been waiting for this series to kind of come back into its own, so I think it's exciting and worth mentioning that this is happening.
I think this is how some games are going to have to have sequels or spiritual sequels.
Yes.
I mean, I've been saying for years we can have a proper ActRaiser sequel.
Well,
why did someone get to that?
I keep the other one I wanted to mention was Bomb Funk Rush. Shit, can't remember.
Bomb Funk Rush? That's a game? Bomb Funk Rush.
I think I'm saying the name wrong, but it's wrong. But it's the one that I'm real excited about. It's essentially Bomb Rush Cyberfunk is the name of it.
I was gonna make a game called Bomb Funk Rush. That's a great name.
Bomb Rush Cyberfunk is another example. It's
Rush.
It's essentially going to be a spiritual successor to Jet Set Radio, which Sega has not been touching. That's one of my the first Jet Set Radio is one of my favorite games. Floaty, weird controls and all.
Spray painting.
But the style looks the same. The spirit appears to be very similar to the first Jet Set Radio.
Except you said, what, you got little rocket boosters on you in this one?
Yeah, and I do think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the guy who oversaw the original soundtrack is coming back for this one too. Oh. So again, if these big companies don't want to make the games that people are looking for, smaller companies will.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Why not? I got in my mind like 3 games that if I had my druthers, I would like to see again, because it's been so long since we had proper sequels.
Rampart? Privateer?
Yes, but there's games that sort of fill in that hole, but a proper Privateer sequel.
I don't know.
ActRaiser.
ActRaiser.
Obviously.
Sure.
And then there's like 1 or 2 more in my head, but anyway, those are the big ones that would find audiences. Like a Privateer 3 would find a pretty sizable audience if you actually made it Privateer 3 with like the same universe. I'd be on board with that. You don't get Clive Owen back, but you know, it'd be fun to get the full motion video parts back of that. Very, very. Privateer 2 is fantastic.
Have you given up on actually wanting, what the fuck was that crazy space one that's probably still in development? Star Citizen.
Oh, that's still.
Have you given up on that yet?
Oh, I gave up.
Okay, good.
Because I feel like it's been 7 years.
Because I can't watch you. I can't watch you get excited anymore.
No, I was excited for when they said, "Oh, they come space." Last time we spoke about it was like 3 years ago, when they combined first-person shooters seamlessly to space combat landing. I'm like, this is incredible. No game's ever done this before.
And no game will.
Well, they did it, but they got to do it for a whole game.
Yeah. Yes.
So I don't know where they're. I have. You know what? I'll look it up on Wikipedia, Ian, because it's been a while since we talked about this.
Is it hot in here, or is it just the fact that I drank 16 ounces of regular Coke and my body is rioting?
That's probably
absolutely
what it is,
rioting. Regular Coke is disgusting.
Star Citizen has raised over $300 million as of June 2000. So that's like more than probably what the last GTA budget was, probably.
Yeah. Wow.
But I mean, that was like you're playing the parts of the game. Squadron 42, the single-player game set in the universe, was initially announced in the Kickstarter, but is now intended to be a standalone product. That's the one where they got the voice acting done, like with Mark Hamill and like Gillian Anderson. So that's done. That can come out. But it sounds like the multiplayer and the more open world stuff is what's going to be troublesome. If it comes out, I'm all in on Star Citizen. Yeah. If it comes out. But it's been so long since we don't cover the updates anymore because it's like
too long.
I mean, it's been 6 years. Oh, the crowdfunding was 2012. So yeah, once you get to 8 years in a game, you got to come out with something. I think 8 years is like come out with something. Otherwise, you're Duke Nukem forever at that point, which did come out, but it was disappointing to people.
It was. Atari doing a thing.
Have you played Atari today, Ian?
No, I have not.
I mentioned it in the upcoming NES Punk video. Wink about Atari a little bit.
One of my neighbors gave me an Atari flashback too.
Oh, which was that? The one with the cartridge slot?
That's the one where you can put a cartridge slot in it.
That's a good one then.
It is. Yeah. He was like, "Hey, do you?" Damn it, I feel bad because now his name is slipping my memory. But
Jonathan, his name is
Jonathan. But he was like, "Hey, do you want this to put it in the free bin?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll take it." And he goes, "Or keep it." And he's like, "It's the second model. You can put a cartridge slot in it." And I was like, maybe I will.
There's no HDMI, but because that was like what 2005.
Yeah, I've got a tube TV. That might be fun.
You got a tube you can stick it in.
Yeah,
cool. Well, anyway, speaking of that, so the Atari VCS is seemingly supposed to come out by the end of the year. And they're partnering with AirConsole. AirConsole we never mentioned before, but it's an interesting concept, especially with a competitor on the market. So what AirConsole is AirConsole is a streaming service to play basically. It's basically the console equivalent of Apple Arcade, where you pay like it's like $5 a month. You get like 150 a library of 150 games that you can play on your PC or on your console. So it's an interesting concept because that's all Atari has, obviously, at this point, is that they don't have, like their own games that'll be exclusive to the console. So they got to partner with everyone else. Maybe that's a strategy that can actually work in a small way, where the business say, yeah, no, this is just a box that's kind of like a PC. We're going to come out and just say that, but it looks nice, and you can just play with some of our partners, like the Ant Stream or the AirConsole. And some of I haven't looked into these games that much, but some of these AirConsole games actually look pretty well polished.
None of them are familiar. None of them are names that I know. Doesn't mean that they're not good games. Some of them actually did look pretty cool, but it does seem to be some fairly unknown stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this AirConsole thing came out of like 3 years ago, and you can get it on mobile devices right now. I think mostly Android. I think the iPhone it's not as compatible with or whatever. But no, the games look surprisingly non-crappy on this AirConsole, and I don't know what their subscriber base is or how many people have it, but I'm not saying this is reason you should go out and buy a VCS, because I don't think anyone should go out and buy a VCS.
You shouldn't go buy a VCS
unless you want to slap your dick on it like Ian wants to. But
I don't want to do that anymore. But that was an old Ian.
That was the old Ian?
That was the old Ian.
That was 8 months ago, Ian? Is changed?
No, new Ian doesn't.
2020 has changed a lot of us.
It really has.
One way or another. But no, like I said, like they're mobile quality or higher end mobile quality games. That's basically what it is. And I know there's another console that wants to do that, but this one is already there with AirConsole. They have it right there.
This chair always makes me look like a gremlin.
Sit up straighter.
I can't. I don't
sit
know.
up straight.
I am.
Lower
I feel like I
support,
am.
Ian.
I am sitting up straight.
God.
I feel like it always makes me look like a dumpling. Doughy
pork or
doughy.
Like a gyoza?
Doughy dumpling. No, like a
chicken.
Like a dumpling that you would like chicken and dumplings. Like just I'm just a wad of fucking Bisquick cooked in hot liquid.
Wow, Ian, you're down on yourself today.
Yeah.
You want to hit the heavy
I don't
bag
feel
with me?
good about myself.
We can start hitting head bag a few times a week?
No.
Sure you have to throw a nice left jab? No?
Yeah, I'll throw one fucking punch with my left arm and my entire neck will just go up in flames.
Is that better? Speaking the next...
I mean, I can feel shit moving around in there, like getting ready for round 2, but right now I'm good, yes.
Okay.
I'm good. Just always waiting for that other shoe to drop.
You're not under the knife yet. We're waiting for the under the knife, Ian.
New study, Pat. We got a study. G4's returning. Where we want to go?
We're going back to 2010 right now. A new study finds video games have no proven impact on real violence. From comicbook.com, who faced this stuff back in the 50s with the comics authority, who tried to censor. Well, they did censor comics. After that point in time, because some asshole with an axe,
comics code,
some asshole with an axe, basically killed his family or what have you, and they found all the horror comics that are popular in the 50s next to him. See, one asshole ruins it for everyone, just like those idiots that shut up the fucking high school in Colorado. Now I can't play Doom anymore. A new study has found once more that there is no proven link between video games. They came down on video games after that happened.
I mean, you can definitely play Doom on just about anything right now.
Well, I mean, you have assholes that come out against video games.
Yes.
It happens all the time. A new study has found once more that there is no proven link between video games and real violence or aggressive behavior. The study was published in Royal Society Open Science, and was conducted by Massey University's Aaron Drummond. The study found that current research is unable to support the hypothesis that violent video games have a meaningful long-term predictive impact on youth aggression. So this was a meta study. It looks like they studied 28 independent samples for its conclusion. For fans of M-rated games such as Mortal Kombat 11, Doom Eternal, and Grand Theft Auto 5, the study is further evidence that allegations regarding the negative impact of violent video games remains unfounded. It's good they went for like more modern stuff versus like, oh, we're gonna look back at like Duke Nukem 3D or like these are proper research. They're doing like the hot games, the here and now games. And we talked about this brings up the APA study from earlier this year. We spoke about that. So we're getting in line now on this. This is not that this is the science is complete on this, but the common conclusion upon health professionals, mental health professionals, is that this is not this is bullshit to say that violence comes from video games.
Yeah, it is, and we bring it up every time a new study comes out, and just restating the fact that it's horse patoots.
I mean, obviously there could be correlation between people that have violent tendencies to play violent games, but that's not causation.
Yes.
If you don't know what correlation and causation is, congratulations, you're 95% of Americans who can't read a study properly. So go look it up and see what that means. Not to talk down to you, but that's how we get in trouble. Oh, the study said that eating butter causes cancer. No, that's not what the study said.
Yes.
Maybe if you eat 18 pounds of butter a day, those people are more likely to have a cancer in their life. Doesn't mean it caused it. That's not a real study, but maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe the Anti-Butter Association had that funded that study. 'Cause that's
Eggs give you big muscles.
The egg stuff is the worst. Because that was, when I was a kid, eggs will kill you. Now they're good. They'll kill you. Now we're back to good again.
You know what I'm going to do?
Yeah.
I'm just going to fucking eat eggs my whole goddamn life because I love them. Eggs are delicious.
But then you find out those
wonderful.
studies are like, oh, it's the fucking Oats and Mills Society that put out the anti-egg data, so you buy more breakfast cereal, and that's shit that actually happens with this stuff. They go back and forth.
Moms against eggs.
No,
I know.
But eggs are fine for you. You can eat them every day. You're not going to die.
They're a perfect goddamn food.
You'll be healthier eating eggs every day than fucking Cocoa Crisp as a kid. That would have been a lot better. Maybe not the breakfast sandwich I used to make for myself when I was 9, Saturday mornings on the I used to toast the Italian bread, the big loaf of Italian bread with some pork roll and egg and cheese. Oh man, that's why I was thick but quick, because my parents didn't slap that big ass sandwich out of my mouth at 10:30 in the morning on Saturday morning before I watched Dungeons and Dragons. Sorry, what was I saying?
You were talking about G4 returning.
Anyway, yeah. So the findings are BS when it comes to this. Okay. So G4, this might be a longer discussion.
You got to carry it because I've never watched one thing on G4.
Well, here's the weird thing, Ian.
Okay.
I never watched a full episode of X-Player Attack of the Show, and I know G4 used to have cops on. They used to have what was that sleazy one I liked? Cheaters. Oh, where they would hide out and see. Oh, it's the man with the woman or the two women together. Whoa! And then they would come bring out the person. Oh, you're cheating on me, and you couldn't. It was probably staged, but maybe it wasn't. Like Jerry Springer was staged. A lot of it, maybe some of it was in truth. Anyway,
I have no problems with G4 TV. By the way, I'm not saying I'm better than G4 TV. I didn't have cable around the time G4 was a thing, so I don't think I've ever watched any of it.
So G4 back in the 2000s, and it closed down 2014 was your cable news source for video game information and reviews and tech news and things like that, and most fondly remembered for launching the career of Olivia Munn. That's why a lot of people probably watched it back then, let's be honest. Like, an attractive woman that likes tech and video game stuff. Oh yeah, great.
Who's Olivia? Let me see.
You know what Olivia Munn is?
No.
Okay. Wow. Anyway, so this is all you need to know about
she's pretty.
Yes, she is. And she used to stick 15 hot dogs in her mouth at one time on the show, and that's why people watch that show. Anyway,
that seems ridiculous.
Yes, she over-sexualized that, and so since video game nerds were still in the realm of no women like video games, they watched that shit. It doesn't work now, but it may have worked in 2005.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, sorry. So the teaser was put online from a Twitter account we never stopped playing. Well, the last tweet was 5 years ago on this account. So Comcast, it seems, is trying to bring this back in some form. We're not sure yet where this is going to be and whether it's going to be. I don't think this is going to be a cable network, because I don't think we're at the point in time where we can go back in time and have people go onto their old-timey TVs to watch video game news and reviews that's already old, because that's available instantly now on Twitch and on YouTube and on Twitter.
Yeah, if anything, I feel like this would be like a 24-hour Twitch channel or something like that.
That might work, but that ain't gonna make the money. That's what this could be, something that people were saying maybe it'll be on the Peacock streaming NBC service, which sounds like a good idea, but that's an awful name for it. There's a reason why this stuff ended. Frank used to watch these shows. That's why when I used to bring up what Frank would know about Assassin's Creed, I used to tell Frank knows about Assassin's Creed 10 years ago, 9 years ago. He used to tune in. Probably Olivia Munn was part of it, but he was fascinated by the tech stuff, I guess, and the video game stuff, just seeing it. He doesn't want to play it, but he watched it. But there's a reason why G4 died off and GameTrailerscom died off, is because you reached a point in time where everyone just said, well, we'll just put our own trailers and stuff up on our own YouTube channel. These companies discovered YouTube.
Right.
Like Ubisoft discovered YouTube. Rockstar Games said 8 years ago, we'll just start putting stuff on YouTube. We don't need a middleman anymore.
Well, and you've got YouTube, and then you've got social networks like Facebook and Twitter that disseminate that information, and people follow who they want to follow on these platforms, and basically they've created their own content feed, and they know where to get it. You don't need a centralized channel to do it anymore.
No, and that's why some of the, obviously, in the past 10 years, God, half of the gaming news websites are gone the past 10 years, or most of them, more than half probably, the main ones. So we're stuck with 3 at this point, 3 or 4. So Yeah, I mean, people are getting nostalgic because, oh my God, G4 is coming back. How many of you are actually going to watch it that are excited for it to come back? That's what we're going to say. It's been 6 years since anyone watched it, and even then, no one watched it in 2014.
You know what channel I want to come back so bad? Nickelodeon Gas. Gas stood for Games and Sports. It was I don't know how long it lasted.
That was after my time.
It was in my first apartment, and I was just a very high stoner. And all it was old episodes of Double Dare and
that's their sports.
Yeah, it was like Double Dare and Legends of the Hidden Temple and Nickelodeon Guts, and it was all of those game shows
dude, you have
24 hours a day.
Well, they had tons of Double Dare. I mean, that Family Double Dare and Double Dare for years.
And I watched that shit like crazy. That was like my favorite cable station.
Go watch the Gorilla Monsoon, Bobby the Brain Double Dare episode where they team up against each other. It's delightful.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
It's all on you. It's delightful to see Bobby run through the obstacle course at the end. It's like, sorry,
all right.
I'll start crying when I think about those two. Sorry, they're so pure. No, they're not, but because the wrestling business is carny trash. But you know,
yeah, there's nothing pure about them.
But they're pure, pure as personalities and as friends.
Sure.
Sorry, I'm gonna start crying here. Anyway, back to G4. So we don't know what's gonna happen with this yet. They timed this kind of with like the Comic-Con timing with this, in terms of, all right, G4 is coming back, blah blah blah. Did you watch any of the Comic-Con virtual panels?
No, I didn't either. I kind of felt insulted that people were trying to pretend like Comic-Con was still going on.
They try to do like the virtual vendor thing, but it's not the same. I mean, hopefully next year it comes back. I can't bring myself to try to pretend that it's a thing.
It was nice. I mean, honestly, it was as much as I missed it, and I did. I mean, in the lead up to what would have been Comic-Con, you know, my phone is sending me pictures from last year in terms of memories, and Vonnie and I are talking about it. And obviously, you realize something's missing when you've been going to Comic-Con for over a decade.
Yeah, this would have been my 11th or 12th one.
And yeah, it's a big commercial shit show, but I do love it. You know, I went through, I think, the usual Comic-Con arc that most people have. They absolutely love it the first few years they go, and then they start to wear out, and they're like, maybe it's not so much for me. And then they take a year where they don't go as much, and they're like, you know what, I missed it. And then
so this will be our gap year.
But then like the past 2 years, I've really, really enjoyed going to Comic-Con again. I just, you know, I was, you know, I figured out exactly how much time I can spend down there and how I want to spend it, and I, you know, meeting up with friends, and yeah, I missed it, but I couldn't pretend and like tune into stuff. I don't do panels and stuff anyways at Comic-Con, so
you did the one. I roped you in.
Yes, but I mean, in general, I don't go to panels and things like that at Comic-Con.
We did a panel.
So
I haven't been to a panel at Comic-Con in probably 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's literally about walking the floor and hanging out with friends. So there was nothing a virtual Comic-Con was going to give me.
Because almost nothing's exclusive at these panels anymore, especially on the movie, like the superhero stuff. They release that because they know it's going to get leaked, so they just release it. Like, what's the point? And that went back to Batman v Superman. After that point, they started just coming out with that stuff like 5 years ago, which is great because I ain't standing in line anymore at Hall H. I mean, that's what I put out the video 10 years ago. The first Comic-Con me and James went out. We did a video on Comic-Con when the person got stabbed in the eye. In between the Harry Potter and the Captain America Marvel one, and so like there was a big mess and delay, and we couldn't get it. We were online for like 4 hours trying to get into Hall H, and it wasn't clear the rooms. Comic-Con, clear Hall H out after you get one panel. Hall H, you get one. Set up different lines for each one. Clear the fucking rooms out. It's not fair. Some asshole takes a seat the whole day for one panel. Who does that anyway? I don't know. I'm not into that culture. Oh, let's go in Hall H for our whole fucking weekend. Oh, really? That's why you're spending money on this trip? Sorry. But I had fun last year. Buying trash comics with Frank Cifaldi was fun. Was that last year or 2 years ago? That was last year. Was it last year?
That was last year.
Wow. Did a lot last year. Hung out with Andre and Dan, looking for toys every year is like a highlight. I always find a couple little video game stuff. I always get in arguments with the new comic collectors. I got into graded video games. That's always fun. And then what else I do last year? Oh, I ended up on Justin Roiland's yacht party of Rick and Morty fame with James, and that was a very, very interesting experience. So that's always why I like Comic-Con. There's always something weird that happens on the side. And sometimes with me and James, we end up at a weird party. It's like the third time it's happened. There, I just latch on as a +1 to James for these parties, basically. But it's fun. We always look at it like, what the fuck's going on? I think I told you about the Robert Rodriguez model party like 9 years ago that we went to. That was a bizarre experience. James interviewed Robert Rodriguez and that project never came out. That Fire and Ice animated, it never came out, I don't believe. And then we ended up at this party where there was a bunch of paid models there. But they were nice, and we're talking to them, and it was just so bizarre because it was like a staged Comic-Con. It was at the Hard Rock. It was a staged Comic-Con red carpet party for an upcoming project, which never happened, by the way. And like inside, there wasn't any real celebrities. Robert Rodriguez was walking around. Tall guy, he's like 6'3". And then there was maybe a couple other people and a bunch of models there that they probably paid. And we talked to them and whatever. There was free food and stuff. Me and James were there till like 1 a.m. That year, and it was just a weird experience. There's always weird experiences. The first Back to the Future girlfriend sat on my lap in the DeLorean. I didn't ask her to. That was back in 2011. That's not on YouTube. I should put that on YouTube. The first Jennifer. She was very lovely. Did an interview with her. Anyway. So say goodbye to Comic-Con this year. And to all, we might as well say this. All conventions are canceled for video games this year, officially. The last ones have been canceled, which is a proper move, obviously. Retropalooza was just canceled. And then a week before this, Too Many Games was canceled. I think that's it. They're all canceled. They're all done this year. So hopefully next year they come back. Hopefully we're back.
Hey, fingers crossed. I've already seen stuff getting canceled in 2021. I've already seen like.
Well, if we were in Europe, we would have been fine because they have everything on lock there, so it would have been fine. But here we don't know how to act, so that's just unfortunate.
Lastly, enjoy the baseball while you can because baseball's going fucking swimmingly right now.
Yeah, the video came out where we brought up baseball the same day that like 7 to 10 Marlins players and coaches had COVID. I didn't realize that like. There's no procedures that they came up across with baseball. It's like, honor system. We'll just hope you guys do the right thing. And that's just a recipe for disaster because they're traveling around. They're not bubbled up like the NBA. And I think hockey is semi-bubbled. I don't know what's going on with hockey yet. But it seems like hockey's and NBA are doing it right. And baseball is just like, we're hoping it's not going to affect you. So enjoy the weird 60-game season while it lasts. Enjoy Jacob deGrom not giving up any runs and the Mets not giving him any run support like usual there. So all right, that's it for our roundup on the intro here.
That's it.
Remember, everyone on YouTube that you're watching, remember we had an audio podcast you can subscribe to on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Google Play Store, wherever fine podcasts are given for free.